Okay guys, so I've always been a bit of a redneck. I took my driver's test in a 1993 Chevy long box with a 6.5 turbo diesel. And now here it is 20 years later and I've gone from hick to slick. I'm driving a Tesla. But here's why I bought a Tesla and why maybe you should consider it. For a lot of you, buying a Tesla might be a really bad idea, and for some, like me, it might be the perfect car. When I first started looking at Teslas, first started seeing people drive around in Teslas, I wondered how in the world do people afford Teslas? And as I started to dive into some of the research in the car market in my area, I began to understand why so many people were driving Teslas. And in a matter of 6 months, I went from being a hater of Teslas to an owner of a Tesla. I actually bought the Tesla before I'd ever even driven one. It seems like a lot of people are buying Teslas for three main reasons when I talk to people. They're either buying it for environmental impact, they're buying it for performance and innovation, or they're buying it for brand appeal and design. That's really not why I bought this Tesla. I didn't buy it for any of those reasons. I actually think they can actually look a little bit nerdy, depending on which model, depending on which color you get. As for the innovation, I'm not a computer guy. I do as little computer stuff as possible, and I don't like diving into the bowels of tech. As for Tesla as a brand, I really haven't fully decided if Elon is really cool or if he's an alien trying to take over the world. So the three main reasons why I did buy a Tesla, well, the first one is low overhead and cost. Overhead and cost, I mean, I've been a business owner for a lot of years, and that's a big deal for me. So from the research that I've done, EVs are really low with overhead. How you want to think of a Tesla is like, you think of it like a supercomputer has mated with a golf cart and has popped out a Tesla. And this is in terms of maintenance. Computers need updating. They need, updates ran, software updates. Golf carts need charged batteries, a little bit of maintenance as far as like wheel bearings, maybe new tires, I guess. But in comparison to a combustion engine car, it's really not going to be a lot of maintenance. And I've watched a ton of reviews. And some of these guys that are putting up these reviews have had their Teslas for over 100,000 miles. And they bought tires, cabin filters, and a few other minor things. A lot of it was covered under warranty. So that's attractive to me. And I admit this might be a huge pendulum swing for me because I went from working on heavy equipment stuff and cars, spending most of my life up to my elbows in hydraulic oil, diesel darkened 1540 stuck underneath my nails. If you don't know what that means, you're in a different class, and that's okay. But now I'm working in an office, and it's nice to have clean hands for my clients that are coming in, and it's nice to not smell. I still like to work on things, but I'm getting into that phase of life where I don't want to have to spend all of my time under the hood unless I really want to. It's nice knowing that I don't have to change the oil in this. I don't have to chase down coolant leaks or service the transmission. Like, that's always kind of on the back of my mind once a car starts getting around 100,000 miles. Which all of those things I just did to our Kia Sorento, 2015 Kia Sorento with 110,000 miles, and we just dropped $500. So savings is big. Gas savings on this is another insane factor to figure in. And owning this just for 6 weeks, we would have spent $176 for gas. That's being really conservative with this estimate. But with the Tesla, I've spent $48 in electricity. And that's $128 savings just in 6 weeks. Now, you think about that, it doesn't seem like a lot, but over the span of time, it's a lot. And then the total cost, right? A 2020 to 2021 Toyota Camry, one of the most reliable cars and comparable as far as the gas savings goes. 25,000 miles on it. I'll look it up for you guys. They're going to be from like $24,000 to $27,000, and that's not including the sales tax, the shipping fees if you buy from Carvana. That's not including the dealer fees. And once you factor all that in, this thing is getting ratcheted up to close to $30,000 or more. But we bought this 2020 Model 3 with 24,000 miles on it from the Tesla dealership for $26,600. It came with an extended 1-year warranty from Tesla. And on top of that, there was still a 10-month warranty from the original owner that transferred to me, which is that's a great deal. I've got 1 year and 10 months now. There was an incentive on sales tax We only had to pay tax on $10,600, which is a big savings from buying a combustion engine car. That's equivalent to this. So be sure to check your state for incentives with EVs. I will say this, I do think that Tesla prices have really dropped over the last several months. I think Elon said something that went viral about not investing in Tesla, and that changed things. So that might change. It might really bounce back. Prices might go back up. I don't know. But if you're buying a Tesla just to turn around and resell it and try and make more money, you might want to consider that. We're planning on using this car for as long as we possibly can. We're going to drive it until it can't drive anymore. What's really interesting is that people who are driving like a Toyota Camry, you see them driving down the road and you think, well, that person's just driving a Toyota Camry. You see somebody in a Tesla and you might think, dang, like, wow, how'd that guy afford that? Like, they were living large. They're actually not more expensive. They're actually more affordable. So I don't know if that's something that you've ever thought. Feel free to agree or disagree in the comments below. I'd love to hear your thoughts in general with some of this stuff. I want to get into the second reason why we bought a Tesla, and it's convenience. I come home, I pull into the garage, I plug it in. I don't have to wait in Costco gas lines, which is huge. I don't have to readjust my seat after my wife drives it. Don't have to warm up the car on winter days or hot summer days. I don't have to get it to cool down. It keeps it at the optimal temperature. All I have to do is set my departure time in the app and the temperature that I want, and the car is ready to go for me when it's time. And when purchasing it, I didn't have to deal with a car dealer or sketchy people on Craigslist. Everything was done through the Tesla app, which was phenomenal. It was really easy. And again, like, I'm not a tech guy, I'm not an app guy. I didn't have to sign a bunch of papers. I didn't have to haggle on price like I typically do in car dealerships. And there wasn't a dealer fee. I just hopped on the app. I found a good used Model 3. I tapped buy, and it led me through the prompts. I think about 45 minutes is all I had into the process when it was all said and done. And then I just had to schedule a time to pick it up. And when I picked it up, it was just a matter of signing my name on I think it was 3 different papers, and we drove away. It took longer for me to inspect the vehicle and to load the car seats in it than it did to sign the papers and leave. As far as the service center goes, it's been really convenient so far. Right now, the way the used car market is, people are holding onto their cars and just fixing them rather than going out and buying new cars. And because of that, it's hard to get in. It's like pulling teeth to get into a service center to get something done. At times I've had to wait from 2 to 4 weeks when it gets really crazy, just to get the mechanic to take a look at something. But with Tesla, I hop on the app, took a few pictures of the chrome that was peeling on the door handle in the back, and scheduled a time 2 days later to have it looked at. Man, they had me in and out. They had the problem fixed in no time. They were efficient, they were convenient. They're only 35, 40 minutes away from my house, so it's not a big deal. See, another thing, I've always been that guy who forgets his keys, but never forgets his phone. Now my phone is my keys, so it's really not a big deal. I'm definitely not ever going to get locked out. I can control the Tesla from my app. I can unlock it from my app. I can flash the lights from my app. And see, another thing that's convenient is the power. Right? Of course, I didn't buy it for the power, but it is really convenient when you're getting on the freeway, not slowing down traffic and overtaking somebody on the road. I can do it quickly and safely. See, the third reason I do want to get into is it's just a practical family car that I've found so far. In comparison to other sedans, there's a ton of room. Right? You've got the front hood that opens up, that's the frunk, and then you've got the traditional trunk, but the trunk has got this deep sunk-in storage space, which you can pack a ton of stuff in. But we've got 2 kids, so the leather seats are really important to us because 2 of the members of our family have been known to puke on occasion, partially because Dad likes to get a little bit crazy on the corners sometimes. When there's meltdowns happening in the back seat, the kids are upset or crying because they dropped their cheese stick on the floor. The car has a fart feature, which for kids under 7 is magic. Right? You can hit the fart button and now everybody's laughing. They're at that age, so we're rolling with it. Don't judge me. I'll show you kind of how I've set up the car to be puke proof. Well, we've got floor mats and seat covers and all the stuff that you really need to have if you've got kids. But really, that's kind of the story of how we got into buying a Tesla and some things to consider. I've talked a lot about why I bought a Tesla, but maybe you want to hear some things of why you shouldn't buy a Tesla. So if range is an issue for you, you like to go on long road trips, this is not going to be the best car for you. I've got the Model 3 Standard Range Plus, and I've been really happy with the range in relation to the amount of driving that I do. I drive 25 minutes to work. It's about 30 miles round trip if I don't make any stops, and I leave the house with about 80% on the battery, and I am back to the house at the end of the day with 62%, depending on how cold it is and how hard I drive. Last weekend was our longest trip with the car so far. We left the house with 80%. We drove a total of 115 miles, made 4 stops. They're about 1 hour stops. The wind was blowing hard. It was raining, storming. All of that, it drains the battery when you've got wind and rain pushing on the car. The outside temp was about 38 degrees, which also affects the battery and how long it lasts because the car has to warm up and precondition at every stop that you make. That's like an hour-long stop. But all of that considered, we still ended the day with 18% charge. I could have easily started the day with 100% charge, and that would have taken any guesswork out of having enough battery power. All that said, it was a little bit stressful because I hadn't taken it on a longer trip. But now that I know how it performs and how long it can go and everything, I'm not worried about it. The other thing that is an adjustment is not having an instrument cluster or a display on the dash. It's just a computer screen, which I now like, right? Just having a computer screen because everything is in that computer screen that I need. I don't have to be looking all over the car to figure out what opens what and what turns what off. But if you're a tactile kind of person, you're not going to like it. But I feel like there's just enough controls and things to move with my fingers and thumbs that it works for me. So hopefully all of this information was helpful for you guys. That this is a story of how I went from being a Chevy driving redneck to a proud owner of a Tesla. And I hope the reflections have shed some light on why Teslas might actually be a good option and maybe worth considering for you. If you haven't subscribed, go ahead and hit the subscribe button. I'm going to be posting some more Tesla related videos and also DIY adventures. That's that. Hopefully this is helpful. If you have any questions, drop it in the comments below. Looking forward to hearing from you guys. Thanks for watching. We'll see you on the next one.